Yeah.
Folks who are online, can you guys comment? What are you able to see?
It's been close.
It's not working.
Hi, Melanie. Hi, Mark. Is the feed working?
I guess it's working now, and we can see live viewers.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it has started.
Guys, if the feed is
Yeah,
working,
we
can
can
you just
restart.
put a yes in the chat?
We'll restart, not a problem. Stop.
Awesome.
All right. Hello.
Ran has just confirmed that we are live.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
so I'll start again. Dukaan essentially means shop in Hindi, which is one of the native languages in India. And we started back in 2020 in the midst of the COVID pandemic, wherein the entire world was basically forced to shift off online. And what we saw was, even at that point of time, very, very large brands, they were sending their PDF catalogs over messaging apps like WhatsApp to receive orders. And our co-founders, Sumit and Suhash, what they've identified as a problem was that if such big brands with millions and dollars of budget are not able to receive orders online, then very, very small mom and pop shops and grocery shops that are there in the offline market, they would be very worse off, and they are deprived of their daily bread and butter. So at that point of time, we decided to basically build starting your online store in less than 30 seconds. And even today, you can go ahead and do that. So we decided to optimize for mobile first, because the major transition that happened for the West, which was, starting from a desktop, then shifting to a laptop, tablet, and then a smaller devices such as mobile, did not happen in the up and coming countries like India. We were directly forced into a mobile first generation. However, even at this point of time, majority of the speeds that you see for internet in India are between the 2G and 3G bandwidth range. And whereas the West has constantly moved on towards 4G and 5G, majority of India, which is tier 2 and tier 3 cities, are still restricted at max to a speed of 3G, right? And loading a website on a 3G phone, on a very, very small phone, wherein if the budget is predefined, let's say you have $100 phone, you can only compromise on a few aspects. Like the first that you compromise is your speed and RAM, and the second is your camera, and third is your operating system. And at that point of time, loading a very, very heavy D2C website on the phone takes up enormous power. But as with the onset of, our decreasing attention span, what we see is that if your website takes even 1 or 2 seconds to load, at that point of time, you've already lost the customer. Even if you are spending millions of dollars in ad budget, if your website does not load fast, it defeats the entire point. Right. So we started from that, and then we decided that the speed itself is a very larger problem that needs to be solved. We shifted focus toward D2C brands, and today we have more than 10,000 plus paying partners along with us who are constantly selling. Can we, in fact, launched last month. We launched the previous AppSumo deal on June 8th, and I recall on that particular day we were live till up. We were up till 5:30 a.m. in the morning, answering queries, addressing all of the queries, and it was entirely we were overwhelmed with the amount of traffic we saw at that point of time, and we hope to regain on that front, and we'll come back with a lot more features, and we'll take you over that shortly. Dipen, can we move on to the next slide? So with Dukaan, as I said, Dukaan means shop in Hindi. Now, in a shop, what are the main pointers that you need to take care of? The first is obviously, your product catalog. The second is accepting online payments. How do you basically accept those payments? How do you ship your order? Right now, once all of that is set up, how do you basically go about expanding? For that, you need a well-designed storefront. You need certain pages like your privacy policy, your story, what's your brand about. You need to find out the analytics of how your store is basically performing. At the same time, if you have a team around you, you obviously want to share access to them to the dashboard to basically manage that. And the inventory management, optimizing for plugins, basically improving, let's say, your site speed, Google Analytics, running ads on Facebook, all of that front. So we started from the ground up, and now we found out that we offer a entire all-in-one solution to sell online. Dipin, can we move to the next slide? So as I said, on June 8th of last year, of 2022, we launched on AppSumo. We were up till 5:30 a.m. in the morning. We were answering queries. We received enormous traction. We have over 3,000 plus licenses sold over the 3 months we were live. Users from 90 plus countries. We identified problems that we did not even think were possible. Right. In fact, in the first week itself, a lot of the customers from US, they mentioned that you are not solving for US taxation. And at that point of time, we didn't even know that the taxation in US is so complex that there are dedicated companies that solve for it. So we got on a call with about 100 of odd of them. We understood that, okay, what is the problem here, how it needs to be solved. And then we integrated with Avalara for that. We have over 6,100 plus stores running from AppSumo from that point of time, and that are still making millions of dollars every day. And we have come back. We are new, we are improved, and we look forward to supporting you and answering your questions on the call. Neil, over to you.
So Deepin, let me present the screen. Yeah. Is my screen visible completely? Hello.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, so the most important thing, the most important thing in e-commerce to think about as of today is only and only the speed and the experience that your website can provide to your users. By default, if you look at Google's policies as well, right? If you have looked into your Google Search Console account even once, you'll realize something that Google will not index your pages on mobile or index your pages on even on a desktop platform properly unless your LCP, which is your largest contentful paint being being higher than 2.5 seconds. And if you see Dukaan versus any other store, by default you'll find that Dukaan's LCP in 90-95% cases, unless you install unnecessary amount of scripts and unnecessary amount of tools, your LCP does not go above 2.5 seconds. And that happens across the world. That means basically we are we have built an infrastructure which is so fast that you cannot even realize many times that you have refreshed your website. And how does that happen? So I'll give you a little bit of insight into it. What we do here at Dukaan is that uh, we have a brilliant tech team, and they have built our own edge computing network. So where what we do is that we have a theme infrastructure which is called Scepter. So Scepter theme infrastructure by default contains all the elements that you require for your basic loading of the website, your layout loading, your homepage loading, or your landing page loading. And it saves it in very small sized files, small packages, I would say. And these packages are distributed across the world in all the servers that we have. We do not have our servers on AWS by default. So we have a bare metal machines, and we have algorithms that detect in real time, like literally in real time, that which is the CDN service also. Like for example, maybe in US, Akamai CDN might be giving you the highest performance, that is basically loading your images in the fastest manner possible. So by default, what we do is that in real time we'll check what are the CDNs, what are the servers that are currently serving the best speeds, and we'll direct the traffic from the closest server to your buyer, who's the consumer who's entering your website. So that's how we kind of maintain that your website load speeds are like instant. Like maximum times you don't even realize that a Dukaan website has opened up. Like what we have noticed is, and we have kind of shared this tweet thread as well, right? If you try to compare and you're running your ads on Facebook or a Google Shopping campaign on any other platform other than Dukaan, like a Shopify or a WooCommerce or a Magento, by the time you're able to click on the ad on the and land on the homepage of the website, In that duration, a user can land on the website, add the product to cart, make the payment, and check out on Dukaan. That's how fast it is. And we ensure that with every update or any small change in the website, like a banner or a product image that you're changing, we'll create the package again of your storefront, and we'll distribute it across all the servers in the world, so that from wherever your users might be, they can reach a website in less than 1.5 seconds on average. Right? So and by default, unless say in e-commerce, what happens is that there are a lot of fluff technologies that you would want to go for. I would not say fluff. A lot of technologies are very useful, like your personalized notifications, your web push notifications and all. But they come at a stage which is way later in the growth uh, cycle of a D2C channel. For example, say unless you are generating more than 100 orders a day, I can guarantee you don't even require a marketing team. You don't require a design team. You don't require any unnecessary tools on your platform, because unless you are sure that your product is working, unless you are sure that you have found the right target audience, doing random experiments like an A/B experiment, sending push notifications, sending web notifications would not result in higher revenues or higher orders. What it will result in, it'll take you into a negative cycle. What will happen is you'll add 10 hello bars, you'll add 15 countdown timers, you'll add a social FOMO plugin, you'll add tracking by engagement tools like a Segment or Asana or Mo Engage, Clever Tap tools, right? But that would bring down your website load speeds even further down. So it'll never be possible for you to bring that audience, and you'll try on keep on experimenting with your store. You'll try to change the copies, you'll try to change the themes, but those are things that don't matter at all unless you reach a scale. Those things matter when you have high skills. To give a very small example, your mobile push notifications, right? Mobile push notifications have a conversion rate in the industry average, or above average, is around 0.1%. 0.1% means that out of every 1000 push notifications that you send, there is a chance that you'll generate one order, right? Now if you have to generate 100 orders a day, because that's the amount of value you will be paying for such tools, right? So to generate 100 orders a day, you have to generate around 10,000 customers who are landing on your store on a day to day basis. And to ensure that that money or that amount effort does not become a sunk cost for you, does not make sense unless you are very sure that your product is solid, you're very sure that you found the right audience, and you're very sure that you want to now unlock the next phase of growth that you have. So these tools come in place when your basic level of growth is done. Now to tell you about how do you reach how do you reach the best conversions by default, how do you reach best conversions without a marketing team? If you just give a read about for Facebook advanced catalog ads, for example, or a Google shopping feed. So these are the things that you can set up by default in a single click. You can set it up with Dukaan with 100% tracking, 100% remarketing, 100% attribution of your conversions, and all the events that users take on your store, like a view content, from add to bag, add to cart, a purchase, right? So all you have to do is just add your product feed link to a Facebook or a Google, start advanced catalog plus campaigns, because there is, and I'm pretty sure that you would believe this when I say that there's no one better at marketing than Facebook, right? You can't hire a marketing agency who's better than the Facebook's algorithm to target users. So all you need to do is that enable Facebook's access to track the users that are coming to your website, track the users interactions that you're taking to your website, and then start experimenting with small budgets, start experimenting with different kind of audiences. Once you're very sure that yes, this is working, then you start scaling it up. And once you reach that scale, that's the time you start looking out to unlock other levers of sale, right? So as everyone says in business, the first task to do is just reach out and grab those lowest hanging fruits. And Facebook feeds, Google feeds are the lowest hanging fruits. You don't need to have a banner design, you don't need to have a creative design, you don't need an Instagram reel or a story, nothing. All you need is just add your feed, start running ads. That's one way of doing it. Obviously, they in a longer run, by default, something that wins is always organic, right? And that Dukaan takes care of by default. If you look at your website, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have created Dukaan stores, and if you have tested out your GT matrix or a light speed score, right, you must have seen your SEO scores and website structure to be by default above 90 or 95%. And how does that happen is because we have grown from a organic marketing company. As in, for the last 10 years, the founders of Dukaan and the core team members were all into helping users grow organically. So we know the ins and outs of how a website should be structured, how fast the websites web you know web should, your store should load, how fast it should load on your mobile fronts, what are the necessary elements that should load first, so that Google is crawling all your pages, Google is indexing all your pages. And I really tell you that, if you have a Dukaan store, please try and install the Google Search Console, and you will see the results for yourself. If you compare, if you are on a Shopify or a Magento or a different WooCommerce platform, say for example you have 10,000 URLs, and Google was telling you that, there are 5,000 are okay URLs, 4,000 are bad URLs. Once you move to Dukaan, in 3 days that data will update and it'll move like 9,900 URLs are good URLs. That means that all of them are getting indexed, and it is getting a higher ratings by Google, because the experience of the user coming to your storefront is amazing, because they click on the store, they land on the store in 1 second, and they can even check out in the next 3 seconds. That's how fast, and that's how important speed is. If you kind of look at data points given by Amazon, or given by Shopify itself, right? Every 1 second delay in page load time results in 7% decrease in conversions. And if that load time is beyond 3.5 seconds, there's no point running different kind of experiments on your store to kind of gain traction, because the fundamentals itself are not right. Unless your fundamentals are solved, I would not suggest that users go for extreme marketing or extreme experimentation. You can go for that once you have that scale, and once you're sure that, because it's a lot of effort that you're going to put in to do those experiments. It's a lot of effort, a lot of money that is going to be involved to deploy such tools on your store. And unless your fundamentals are right, you'll just keep trying to figure out what is wrong with my store. And there's a wonderful example. This is something I literally learned from our CTO, right? So as a marketer and a product guy myself, we used to install Microsoft Clarity, right? Microsoft Clarity or a Hotjar. So that's a user tracking tool. Now that tracks your user sessions, your user recordings, and multiple other things, so that heat maps, so that you can see what's going well and what's not going well. Now it is impossible for you, if there are 2-3 thousand users coming to your website also, it's impossible for you to go through every recording, every heat map, every funnel that is there. So you can, if you want to use such tools, just use it for a couple of days, install it in your store and uninstall it, because all you're going to look at is the sample data, right? It is not required for you to install Microsoft Clarity and keep it on for 1 month, because installing such scripts by default will increase your store load speeds by a couple of seconds. And then you're going to be looking in those recordings that what is going wrong. And by default, the thing that is wrong is installing Microsoft Clarity or a Hotjar or a Lucky Orange, or similar tracking tools, right? So these tools are to be installed to gather certain sample data, so that on that sample data you can figure out what is going right and what is going wrong, right? uh, Moving on. uh, Sorry. Yeah, moving on. What happens is, now in India, what we have seen, the trend is that somewhere around 90-93% of commerce happens through your mobile devices. Now in the US or the American markets, what we see, the trend is around 60% traffic is from mobile devices, 40% traffic is from still desktop users, because it's a very different market. India has evolved as a mobile market, US was a more evolved market, where desktop shopping was already a thing. But that trend has been moving on, and it's expected in the next 3 to 4 years, around 90-95% of e-commerce would be happening via mobile devices. And the platforms that were built in the last decade, that is between somewhere around 2010, 2000 to 2015, e-commerce used to be really different. And why I'm saying that is that, there are many things that are now fundamental to e-commerce, which were not a thing before. To give you a very simple example, suppose you have a product review section or a product filter section, right? Now that becomes a fundamental part of your e-commerce. You can't have separate third party scripts loading just so that you can enable a product filtering or a product search on your store, because that is what a user expects from you. That is what a user is getting from Amazon, that is what a user is getting from a Walmart, or that is what a user is getting from Flipkart, right? So they expect that experience that they get from other platforms. That is the only reason, that's the first reason user would trust you and able to kind of make a purchase from your store, instead of a experience that is better, that he's already getting from other platforms. So the competition is really tough. So we try to ensure that by default we are enabling you with such tools and such native functionalities, that it does not impact, it does not add bloatware to your store. Basically, I would literally call it bloatware, because it brings down the load speeds of your store extensively, like extensively. Like a small plugin, like a Hello Bar plugin on Shopify would bring down the store loading speeds by around 1.5 to 2 seconds, right? So what's the point of having a Hello Bar? So you're paying say $10 a month for a plugin of a Hello Bar. I'm not saying it's a bad plugin, it's a useful plugin, but it can be implemented in different ways. You're paying $10 a month, your load speed goes by above by 2 seconds, and as per the data, your conversions go down by 14%. So approximately, say if you're making $1,000 a month, now just by installing a Hello Bar, you're making $850 a month. So by spending $10 on a plugin, you're losing out on $150 of business. Right? So that does not make sense in any scenario. Right? Now, since since we are solving problems and we are solving at scale for mobile users, it enables us to build such a platform that is optimized, that is well experienced, that goes well and runs well on all kind of devices. In India, we have a very large user base. We have, say, somewhere around somewhere around 100 million iPhone users. Then we have around 700 800 million Android users going across your OnePlus devices, your Google Pixels, your Samsung devices, your MI devices. And that is where all your e-commerce business is going to lie, if it does not right now, even if 50 60% audience is there. And by mobile, what I don't mean that our web performance is not up to the mark. Web performance is as fast as mobile, but mobile is way more important, right? And that is going to be the trend across the world. And if you would see, how many of you have actually went ahead on Google Analytics and checked out the users landing on your store, where are they coming from, right? What you would see is in emerging markets, 50% of your audience would be coming via an MI browser or a Samsung browser. They don't even use a Google Chrome, or they don't even use a Safari, right? For more developed markets, 50% of your audience might be coming from Safari or Chrome, but rest of your audience comes by built-in default browsers. And those browsers, as Jodhbir pointed out in the first about a section, that people compromise on cameras, people compromise on RAM, because people want to sell good mobiles. And that is why the inherent devices that people are using between those budgets would not be able to render the experience that you're expecting on your desktop, right? So you're sitting here, you're building a website on a platform, and you're looking at, and your perception is that because since you're building it on your laptop or a desktop, so you're always previewing it in a desktop, so you don't have you don't, you by default you create that perception that, okay, this is how the website is going to look for my user. But you don't know where your user is coming from. So that is the first thing you need to understand, where are the users coming from.
Along with
Once you know
that,
where are the users coming from. Yes, Subir.
yeah, along with that, even if you run Facebook and Instagram ads, right, they are by default being running on the default browser that is there. For example, if you run an ad, let's say for headphones on Facebook, and the user is browsing on Instagram, Instagram is by default a mobile first company, right? The ad itself will load in the web view of the Instagram app. It will not basically go redirect and then open it on the Chrome or Safari browser at that point of time. Yeah,
Unless, yeah,
Nitin.
unless the user himself has changed his default browser. So now we have given a lot of talk about how fast we are. We'll give you like real results. So this is a data for a brand who has recently moved from Shopify over to Dukaan. And what they have seen is, and you'll be blown away by this, what they have seen is, I'll not give you the exact numbers. Suppose that you're spending $100,000 a month in marketing. With that $100,000 a month, they were generating somewhere around $300,000 of revenue on Shopify. But as soon as they moved to Dukaan, in the same $100,000 budget, their conversions increased by 74%. Right. So basically, that means now they're generating somewhere around 470,000 in revenue on the same marketing budget. Right. So what how I would like to put it is that, being on platforms which are slow, you are actually losing out on money. Right. You could have gained $150,000 more in business, but you lost out on that money only and only because your website load speeds and your optimization was not up to the mark. And to give you some metrics, if you can look at my screen here, so this is uh, the migration phase. So from October 25 to November 3, we have compared a 1 week data. So this is the orange line. If you see here, this is the platform being on Shopify Plus, and this is not a normal Shopify store. Shopify Plus, paying maximum money, is having an agency hired, having a third party hired to manage their store and optimize their speeds and whatnot. Then from November 5th to 14, again a 1 week comparison with Dukaan, their average page load speed dropped by 65%, right? 65%. So that inherently means that you're getting more users on your store. They're going to be spending way more time, and that is visible in the next screen here. This is the number of pages and sessions by users, right? So average sessions, average number of pages browsed by a user increased from 3 to 6.5, and that only happens because in 3 seconds, right? In 3 seconds of load time, basically, if you see this load time, average page load time is 6.82 seconds, and that dropped to 2.2 seconds. So in 4 seconds, it is possible for the user to browse more products, right? The more he browses and the more he goes through the content on your website, the more likely they are going to be converted, and the more likely they're going to make that purchase because they love that experience, right? And that is the only thing, that is the first fundamental thing that you need to get done for your store. Without this, there is no point having a fancy theme, having multiple tools, or having, personalized notifications or countdown timers or such, right? Coming back to revenue metrics, so if you see the time spent by user, the time spent, the time by, uh, the number of sessions done increased by user directly results in increase in revenue. First of all, their average order value, if you see the orange line again, October 1st to 25, this is the Shopify conversions, and this is Dukaan. So their average order value increased by 11%, right? Their e-commerce conversion rates increased by 76%. 76%. That is, so this is the migration phase where we were not tracking the conversion data because they shifted on November 4th. But if you see the conversions picking up, and we still have, as in the store active, and you can yourself go check out the store fundamentals, you can check out the store score metrics and SEO scores, and you would be blown away. And as in by default, you can check out your own store's metrics, and you would be able to see the difference. And unless this is available by default, because if my store is loading in 6.8 seconds, Google is not indexing your page. Your home page would be indexed, your product pages, your category pages, your collection pages, your blogs, they are not indexed on mobile devices. If you think people are able to see it, people are not, unless your load speeds are less than 2.5 seconds, right? So that was a case study. Now coming to the AppSumo deal that we have going on, right? So the reason, obviously, except the crazy technology, the crazy edge network that we have deployed, which loads your store in real time from the closest servers, finding the best CDN possible, so that even your images are optimized so well that it does not impact your website speeds. Uh, Beyond that, what additionally helps to make it so fast is that we've ensured, since e-commerce, as I mentioned, that e-commerce has changed a lot over the last 10-12 years, the things that are mentioned here, right? So these are things that are by default a fundamental part of e-commerce now, right? If you see your filters and attributes, maybe 10 years ago, filters and attributes, something is that was being developed, not thought about a lot. But now filters and attributes is something that by default you need to have in your store, right? Loyalty is something, I would say, yes, it's not a mandatory thing, but Dukaan provides that as a default feature, because there is nothing better than retention, right? If you have a business, you're running business, and if you're able to retain users, there's nothing better than that, because retention is something that drives profitability. You can acquire users, you can acquire a lot of users at a lower cost at high load speeds, but if you're not still not able to retain those users, there's going to be a point where you would not be able to sustain your business. Coupons and discounts, a crazy constructs that you can develop on Dukaan, like on a specific product, on a specific category, BXGY, free items, delivery coupons are by default a native part of Dukaan. Customer accounts, so on a WooCommerce or a Shopify or a Magento, if you want to customize your customer's login page, his account, his addresses, his tracking of orders, his return or exchange requests, right? So you have to buy a separate plugin to do that. Now every third party plugin that you're installing to your storefront is a third party JavaScript that loads when a customer is trying to access your store. The number of plugins that increase, so this is what we have done. This is the average number of plugins that a store uses to run or function properly on any leading e-commerce platform. And this is what, on a second level, drives down the load speeds of your store, right? Customer accounts, digital products is now a type of product. Now, for if you have to sell digital products, you need to have a third party plugin, which does not, which in today's date, being such a world where such crazy technology exists, having a third party plugin to manage digital products is not useful, right? Custom coupons, that you want to generate coupons in bulk, you want to generate 1 lakh coupons, you want to generate 10 lakh coupons, by default is a part of your store. Recommendations, your inbuilt recommendation engine, bestsellers, frequently bought together, recently viewed, cart upsells, search discovery, is again default part of Dukaan. A theme editor and a multiple level of free themes. So why we provide these free themes, and why we don't launch a lot of themes at as users request, we need more themes, we need more templates. So what happens is, if I'll try and share in comments the top 3 stores that drive conversion, that have the highest conversion of Dukaan, right? And if you look at those themes, you'll be like, we have been living in the wrong world, actually. right? So those are three stores that don't have any theme added. They don't even have any discounts or banners, but they have the highest conversions. Why? Because their product is solid, their distribution is solid, and their load speeds are amazing fast, right? Now, I'll let Jyothbir continue over. So we have a bunch of new features that we have added for our AppSumo users, and then we'll continue and talk in detail about Zapier.
So, as I mentioned, right, as soon as we launched on AppSumo, we were blown away with the amount of features that were being requested. Our roadmap got flooded with a lot of comments, and it took us a lot of time to basically identify that, okay, these are the ones that are actually very important for users, and these are the ones we should focus on going forward, right? So, at that point of time, what we decided was, okay, let's get back to the basics. What all is very, very important, right? So, the first thing was obviously, solving for US taxation. So we integrated with Avalara. We went over and did a lot of testing at our end. We understood the problems, and we launched a multi solution for that. How that works is, if you want to have more than one, you want to sell in more than one county in the US, you can basically opt for Avalara, which is automatic tax calculation, or basically input it via a variable pricing method at your end. Along with that, solving for languages was very important. So we integrated with the Google APIs for Google Translation, and basically translating your entire storefront into 104 plus languages. Accepting payments, right? So we integrated with Stripe, PayPal, dLocal, PayMongo, 2C2P, Zendesk, and Braintree that together combined cover majority of the countries that are in existence today. Along with that, we identified that, okay, users want to sell digital products. At the same time, Gumroad was increasing their transaction fees, so we decided to make a Gumroad importer, a WooCommerce importer, and basically allowing you to sell directly digital products from your Dukaan storefront. We launched email marketing campaigns, advanced filters for your coupons, loyalty points, as Neil rightly mentioned out. Right. Along with that, as you are spending on ads, right? Facebook basically went over iOS actually went over a very large change wherein they were not sending any tracking data to Facebook, and in that quarter itself, Facebook's revenue had fallen down. Which after which they basically launched server-side events, which tracks data from your entire e-commerce funnel and sends that to Facebook. So we launched a plugin for that. Webhooks, which Neil will cover rightly after this in the Zapier automation theme builder, which just went live a few days ago. Along with that, over the past 6 months, we've had more than 1,200 to 1,500 plus native new small improvements that you don't even notice at the on the daily, right? Every more than 30 minutes do not go by when a new deployment takes place at Dukaan, and at the same time, we look after basically enhancing the entire user experience, going after our roadmap again, and focusing on the next big thing at our side. Neil, over to you for the Zapier automation.
Right. So basically, first I'll talk about the Webhooks plugin that we have and the kind of functionality that it enables for your stores. So to give you a little brief, there are a lot of users that might not be aware what do Webhooks do. Webhooks are basically a trigger that we fire from your Dukaan store to any third-party app which you want us to fire it to. Right. So what it implies is that, say, whenever you have received a new order on Dukaan, or whenever, say, you have received a order status update, or an abandoned cart, or a customer has been added to your store. So these are certain triggers where we can fire this information that this is the new order that has been received. This is the order value, this is the order amount, the customer name, billing address, and further communication details, customer tags and stuff, to any third party app, which enables you to integrate Dukaan with third party communications, with third party CRM tools, with third party logistic tools. Suppose you want to set up your custom email templates for sending customer notifications. The first thing you can do is go to your Dukaan store, and by default we have email communications available, which is in a Dukaan template. If you have your custom domain added and SMTP, then we send it via your white labeled email with your store logo. But if you want to further customize it, you can turn off communications from Dukaan and send that webhook to a Klaviyo or a Mailchimp, or send it via third party like a Zapier or a Pabbly. And then you can configure any kind of journey you want to configure on your third party tools, because we'll send the customer data, we'll send the customer tags. You can segment your customers, you can build marketing automation flows. So what this enables us is that there are certain things that we don't want to get into very deeply, right? For example, customer notifications, or customized notifications, or logistics, or your print on demand services, right? So this is something, these are that are not our core businesses. What we want to do is we want to enable users so that they can utilize whatever tool they want to utilize, right? For example, Google Analytics. So at Dukaan, why are we not going deeper into analytics, and why are we not providing more data? Because we provide your base view of your store analytics on the Dukaan storefront itself, on your merchant panel. But now, since Google or a Segment or a Twilio or Asana, they are so good with analysis. We record all the data. If you want to integrate with Google Analytics, you can integrate there. You want to integrate with Asana, you can integrate there. You want to integrate with Airtables, you can integrate there, and kind of dig deep in your data. But again, pointing out these tools are required, and as in I would suggest, except Google Analytics, I would suggest that unless you have that scale, and that scale to tell you in terms of volumes, unless you are doing more than 100 orders a day, I would not say that you should be even trying to figure out this stuff. The first thing you need to figure out is how to get to 100 orders a day. That is when you should figure out this stuff. Now, coming back to the Zapier automation. So last year, when we launched the RapSumo program, right, we got a lot of inbound requests to do multiple integrations, integration with a print-on-demand service like Printful or a Printify, then integrations with independent logistic companies across the world. There are like hundreds of logistic companies that we've gotten requests to integrate with. We've gotten requests to integrate with a Klaviyo. We've gotten requests to integrate with Mailmodo, Mailchimp, deep integration. So there are like 100 tools that people want us to integrate with, right? But it is really tough for us to gauge that what is the right tool we should do a direct integration with. So that's why we decided that first what we're going to do is we're going to enable these integrations by third parties. And what I mean by these integrations is that we are having a Zapier plugin going live. We have a Pabbly plugin also going live, wherein basically a user, you would be able to take actions on Dukaan against the triggers that you're doing. To give you a simple workflow here, what you can do here is that suppose you receive an order on Dukaan, you want to send custom notifications. You send that order notification via some email tool and integrate it via a third party tool. You want to send your shipping partner that I have received an order and I want to create a shipping for this, right? So you can integrate that shipping partner, Easy Ship, or multiple other Shippo, Go Ship also. Our plugin is also there. You can integrate by these tools as well, and you can create the shipment there. But the great part is that since we are doing a deep integration with these third party tools like a Zapier or a Pabbly, you can take actions on Dukaan as well. You can send the action to Dukaan. Suppose a shipping partner gave you a status that now we have shipped the order and it's in transit, right? So you can tell Zapier or Pabbly that okay, for this order ID, please mark this order in shipped state, right? Similarly, if you want to integrate with Printful, Printful is something that we haven't got have got some bit of demand from there. You can integrate Printful with Dukaan via Zapier or Pabbly. Whenever you receive an order, you can send it to Printful. Whenever Printful ships the order, whenever order status has been updated on Printful, that would get updated on your Dukaan store as well, so that the communications link, the tracking link, the user experience is seamless. Now, once we see traction building for certain kind of apps, certain kind of tools, then we will target, okay, that these are the first three deep integrations that we are going to do for our users, because it is really tough to gauge out of 150 integrations wherein we have received request where there's not a difference from, let's say, someone has requested something 100 times and something is 90 times. So I can't really judge, as in we can't make up a decision, okay, this is something that we should do first. So instead of that, this is something we're enabling. And for users who are generating somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 orders per day, at that scale, these tools are almost inexpensive. I would say like almost free of cost, because the number of tasks and workflows that you need to create are by default included in their base plans, right? So that is something that will enable this for you. Now, since once you see success in these integration, and once you see that you're scaling up further, yes, you can reach out to us directly. We'll even post reach out details how to reach out to us regarding these specific things, and then we can go ahead and do a deep integration so that you can save on these tools, you can save on third party integrations. So that's how your store would become more efficient. But till then, it is very easily possible to integrate via to a multiple bunch of apps just via third party integration, and not limited to your communication or logistics. It can be a CRM, it can be a push notification, custom notification tool, or it can be a finance tool like a Tally, or accounting tool, or a taxation tool like Avalara, or any tax jar, any tool that you want to integrate with is possible through these third party integrations. Yeah, Jyoti. Yeah, I guess we have the Q&A section next. So let's get to that.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Neil, for the sharing all the details on the Zapier tool and Jodhbeer as well. So we have received a lot of questions. So now let's go ahead and start taking those questions. I'll put up those questions on the screen itself. So first question we have is from Mayank Sharma. One second. Do you provide custom themes which are not in the theme section? Like if someone wants to get a custom theme for their brand, are we offering that solution? And if yes, how are we offering that as of now?
So we are offering that by either if you don't have any resources to develop a theme at your end, since we have enabled your theme editor or your code editor now. So by default, that gives you limitless capabilities of building any kind of storefront or any kind of theme. But beyond that, if you don't have those capabilities or resources that you can spend time or hire someone to develop a theme for you, then you can choose from any of the premium themes that are available from the dashboard. So those are pre-coded themes which we can enable for our users.
Got it. Got it. Thanks, Neil. So next question we have is from Believe It, right? Like he has some questions that is related to AppSumo, where how the old users can upgrade from tier 2 to tier 3.
Yeah. I guess old users cannot upgrade from a tier 2 to tier 3 because that deal and this deal are fundamentally different. Fundamentally different because like this deal is meant for clients who kind of missed out on the deal, or this is a deal meant for clients who want to get more licenses to Dukaan because they find value in this product. Upgrading from a tier 2 plan to tier 3 plan was available when you bought the deal last time, and you had a 60-day period. If you wanted to upgrade, you could have upgraded from a tier 2 to 3. If you want to upgrade from a tier 2 to tier 3 in the new plan, that is kind of not possible. But rest assured that the features and functionalities on all AppSumo deals and all AppSumo plans is consistent and same,
Correct.
and going to be consistent going forward in the future as well.
All right, all right. Thanks, Neil. So we another question we have is from Adam Bree. He's asking if there is a way we can use Dukaan to drop shipping. I think you just mentioned how we can use Zapier to drop ship.
Right. Adam, so the first problem with this is, right, easier drop shipping or AliExpress. In India, these websites are banned, first of all. So we couldn't get the chance to, build out on them. And additionally, what we saw is that Shopify used to have a very big drop shipping company called Overlow, right? And recently they kind of shut down that segment itself because drop shipping is not very fruitful unless you have the right product and the right audience sorted out. It is useful. I'm not saying not for everyone, say, but only 1.5% users are able to actually benefit from that. But then, for as in we don't see it as a very core request or requirement from our users. So you can integrate through via to CJ dropshipping or AliExpress via a third-party integration. That is possible.
In fact, we even wrote to Printful a lot of times, and we didn't receive a lot of suitable response from their end at that point of time.
Got it. So another question we have is from Mohammad Umar Raza. His question is that how if anybody is visiting their website from US, then are the prices shown natively in that country in dollars or still in rupees?
So the prices are shown in, so it depends on the store setup you have done first of all. So there's a default currency of your store. Once you have enabled that default currency, the prices are visible in the default currency in itself. Now there are payment gateways, suppose like a Razorpay, which enables international payments on the same amount. When the user is trying to pay, they can pay in dollars or their international payment methods. So it is not mandatory for you to kind of showcase different currencies because it opens a lot of possibilities wherein now say you are a seller in UAE or India or some other country and you want to sell in multiple countries. Now first of all, it is possible for you that you might have the same prices across the world. There are some users that have same price, that have different prices, right? So it's a use case that we have solved for. You can have the bundle plan in AppSumo, and if you want to have different prices, you can list multiple stores depending upon subdomains us.yourshop.com, yourshop.com, uae.uk.yourshop.com. And if you see Amazon also, right, Amazon themselves don't do that, or a Walmart does not do that. If you go to amazon.com, you can buy in dollars. If you go to eu.amazon.com, you can buy in pounds. If you go to amazon.in, you can buy in INR, right? But you cannot go to a store wherein you go to amazon.in and you see the prices in dollars, because that would create a lot of compliance and operation issues and logistic issues for yourself, which you might not realize right now, right? So that's why we haven't built a markets wala update just like a Shopify, because that does not properly solve a market's problem, because every market has a different kind of taxation rule, every market can have a different price, and generating one order report in multiple currencies and generating from managing it through one panel becomes kind of very hacky, a hack to kind of manage such things.
And we've seen this with the clients that we migrated from Shopify to Dukaan as well. When we had to basically migrate the data from their existing Shopify store to Dukaan, we saw that a lot of them used to run into issues with respect to compliances of the specific countries that they were selling in. Say, for example, as Neil rightly mentioned out, right, the compliances that are required in, let's say, UAE versus those required for shipping in America because of the taxation taxation policies versus that is required in India. All of these are entirely poles apart, right? So as of right now, we found that it's better to have that as a separate storefront rather than basically just changing the currency and displaying it to the user.
Got it. Got it. Thanks. So I have one more question. It is related to AppSimo. So if I buy the plan 2 for $199, and after a week, if you decide to upgrade for $399, we'd like to inform you that the pricing on our AppSimo will be increasing tonight. So if
Yeah.
you haven't bought the deal yet, so make sure you go ahead and buy it. We'll be sharing the link in the comments.
So, Dipen, you can drop the link in the chat below. And to answer your question, sorry, I'm not able to read your name. I don't understand Arabic.
Yeah.
The price increase after 7 hours would be tier one would stay the same at $69. Tier two would increase to $299, and tier three would increase to $499.
To sum up your question, you will be, if you want to upgrade from 199 at tier 2 to tier 3, it'll go from 199 to 499.
We have just answered your question related what would the new price be after the price increase. What is the cost of multi? One second, I'll put up the new question. Mohammad Umar Raza is asking what will be the cost of a multi warehouse for LTD users.
It's the cost depends on the location or country that you have. So we support warehouses in limited countries as of now, because there are logistical challenges for having warehouses. As in, you can have warehouses for inventory management, but then what happens is every country follows a different pattern. Every country does not have a pin code. Some countries have counties. Some countries have emirates. Some countries have regions, right? Some and Your Google Maps API is not very accurate except for developed countries, like American market or a European market. Even in India, I would say Google Maps API is not more than 70% accurate. uh,
In fact, about 2 weeks back, Google Maps did a very specific webinar focused towards geotagging of countries. And with the onset, they are only supporting 9 countries out of the box, and support for the rest of the countries, including those of India, Bangladesh, Southeast, majority of Southeast Asia. They said would be picked up later this year, preferably towards Q4.
so yeah, so if it depends on the country, if you have a multi warehouse plan and it is not supported in more than 2 to 3 countries, and if it is supported, it depends on the country what the price per warehouse would be.
Awesome. Thanks, Neil. So I have another question is from Nasir Ahmed. How they can buy the new premiums and themes that we have launched as a LTD user? Hi, can anyone take this question from Nasir
So
Ahmed? Like how?
but Yeah, yes, Nasir. So basically, what you can do is that you can go to the premium theme section, and there'll be an option to get in touch. Right, so you can get in touch with the business team. You can have a discussion. You can tell about your requirements, and they'll suggest you the most suitable theme for your store, and you can make that purchase. And the theme prices range for the global audience. I would say they range from a $250 to a $400 range, approximately, without taxes, no tax include in that, and uh, and you can go ahead with the purchase after getting in touch with the team.
Awesome. Thanks, Neil. So we have one few more questions from Pawan K. Rudra asking, can you elaborate about the tier 3 plan specifications? Requesting Jodhbir to take this question and highlight the key features they get.
By default, all AppSmo plans are basically get all features, right? The primary point of difference between tier one, tier two, and tier three comes firstly towards the theme builder, the code editor that is available on tier 2 and tier 3, and the digital products. Along with that, the difference between tier 2 is that you would only be able to create 10 stores versus unlimited stores on the tier 3 plan.
So, so we have one more question from Mohammad Umar Raza is in tier 3 plan, can we make both physical as well as digital store?
Neil, would you like to take that?
Yeah. Raza, we can create multiple stores in a tier three plan, but right now we have not extended the support for selling digital products as well as physical products from the same store. What we saw the use case here only was in the case of magazines or books. In most cases, where books can be sold physically as well and a ebook, but the vastness of digital products itself is very large, and the vastness of physical products is also very large, and tackling a problem which is around books or specific products is something that we have not taken up yet, and we might, but there is no surety that I can give you right now. You can create two stores. One can sell digital products and the other can sell physical products. So in tier three, you can create unlimited stores, right?
Yeah,
So you
and
can test around and
what we
play
meant
around.
to Raza is that, say for example, you create two stores, right? Keep them on the same theme, keep the same naming scheme and all of that front. And on both of those themes, have the first banner that, let's say, on one is the digital store, the other is the physical bookstore, right? I'm assuming this is with respect to books only, so I'll use that example. On the physical bookstore, have the banner purchase ebooks and use that to direct it towards the bookstore, towards the ebook store, and on the ebook store, have the banner that purchase of physical books and direct that to the other store. In this way, both of the invoicing as well would be separate, right?
So we have one more question from Ritik Bhatt. He want to know about the charges that will be applicable if they're using Dukaan Pay for the payment gateway on the LTD plan. I assume.
Yeah. So the charges paid on LTD plan on AppSumo, if they're using Dukaan Pay, the charges are at for tier one, I would say is at 2.99%. Ajit be right, and
Yeah.
the charges for tier two and tier three users are at 1.5%, 1.49%.
Versus if you connect your own payment gateway in, let's say, Stripe, Razorpay, PayPal, any of those, Dukaan does not charge anything on top of what they are already charging you.
Correct.
Awesome, thanks. So we have one more question from Kamran Abdul Aziz. He wants to know about that international stores will have shipping partner integrated. Can you share more of the details about the shipping partners that we have on international stores?
Yeah. So basically, right now we have a direct integration with GoShippo. If GoShippo supports logistic partners in your area, you can go ahead and directly use it. If GoShippo is not supported, the second method that you can use if you are not doing orders at scale and it can be very feasible for you, you can use a self-ship method. In the self-ship method, you can literally just add the tracking information for the user, and the user would get real-time notifications, and the user would have the tracking link to kind of go ahead and track the order in detail also if they want to, right? And if you are doing orders at scale and you really don't want to take the effort or pain of shipping, say, orders with self ship method, then you can check out Pabbly and Zapier. Sooner deep integrations with them also will be live. If a shipping partner is supported via that platform, you can integrate those partners.
On the point of Shippo, in fact, if any of you are already using Shippo and could help us put in touch with them, that would be great. We were testing out a new flow at our end and are not able to figure out the documentation. So that would be great.
Awesome, thanks. So we have one more question. This is regarding the certificate of, I think this will be around the agency folks who want to, create stores for their client.
Right. All our agency plan holders or a tier 2 tier 3 plan holders or even a tier 1 plan holder is allowed to resell Dukaan stores at any cost or any service they want to sell at. You can even bundle your services with the Dukaan store, custom theme build that you're doing for them, store operations, setup of analytics, and multiple marketing services. You can bundle it and sell. And if a certificate is mandatory for you, that is something we can discuss internally and look into. And we can create a channel. We'll post it on the roadmap of Dukaan. post this call, post this seminar, we'll post it on the roadmap. Please put down your emails for people who actually want a certificate, and we'll look into it. And if the requests are multiple in number, we'll try that we pass on this certificate within your admin panel in Dukaan store. Right, a certificate would then be made available so that you are an official reseller for this store plan.
Thanks, Neil. That answers the question. So I have one more question from Viral Tech.
You don't need a license approval with Dukaan Pay for selling or reselling digital products, unless
Sure.
obviously those digital products are something like a Netflix subscription you're trying to share. That is a banned product item. Then it is possible if Netflix strikes your store, then there's nothing else that we can do except taking it down.
Right. Request everyone not to sell any type of banned products. So we have another question from Amit Kumar. Is he wants to know about the sticky button feature that we currently have on mobile, if we can have that same feature on desktop.
A sticky add to cart does not make a lot of sense on desktop. And Amit, as I can see, you might be from India, and 96% of your audience is coming from mobile devices, and the 4% users that are coming on desktop are also many times admin staff, operation staff, and kind of staff that is using your own website or panel, right, to testing it out. There's not more than 1 or 2% audience that comes through desktop. And even if that audience comes through desktop, I don't think it is a problem at all for them to find a cart button or back button or the add to cart page as well. It's right in front of them. It's not needed to be sticky, but if it becomes a problem, that we can look into this.
Thanks, Neil. So we have another question. Can we sell food and sandwiches with Dukaan? Yes, absolutely. You can sell any product. Not a problem.
Definitely. And if you want to send a few to our office, please, we would be more than happy to have them.
Yes. So we have one more question. This is related to payment gateway. Uh, this is related to Paymo payment gateway in Egypt.
So we did try to integrate with Paymob. Paymob is on the roadmap. We definitely want to go ahead and do that. As of right now, we are facing a little bit of friction in getting in touch with them and getting the access to the testing keys. But yeah, that is definitely on the roadmap.
All right. Thanks, Jodhbir. So we have another question from Mohammed Umar Raza. Any type of training provided for Dukaan for beginners? Absolutely, Mohammed. We have a lot of video tutorials and help articles available on our dashboard itself. You can take a look at those videos. And we also have a lot of help articles that you can use to learn more about the features and the product. So I think that's it. We'll quickly wrap up the live today.
Yeah. So as I
Thanks.
mentioned earlier in the conversation, right? So I'm going to post two store links, and I would really request the users to check these out. So these are the two stores that drive conversions in the range of 6% and above. Uh, and you will notice that there is something really different about these stores, and that is the thing, that their product is well suited for their audience. They have their distribution sorted, and they are focusing on their own business instead of optimizing for conversions by A/B testing or changing copies. They know their audience, they know their product, and they know their market, right? So I'm just posting it here. I'll pin these comments here, and these are the two stores, except obviously our enterprise brands, who we help, who we kind of assist, like a Shopify model, to generate the best possible outcomes and tell them, "Ki, okay, this is something that you should not be using." But uh, still, a lot of people have a lot of requests. There are a lot of people in a lot of companies who would want to integrate a lot of stuff to kind of ensure that something is happening, and they're moving revenues, and they're moving and generating business. But there is nothing better than having your distribution sorted out, having the product as the hero. That product, that for you guys, the merchants here, the hero is the product that you're selling, right?
Neil,
And
you actually put both the links simultaneously. Can you just share your screen
yeah,
and show those stores?
sure.
I'll drop them in comment.
Yeah, so let Deepen drop them in the comment.
Yeah.
let those people kind of test it out, check the load speeds. And if there are any Canada users also here, I would really suggest that you compare your Shopify store and Dukaan store, and I would really suggest that you go to the Shopify office, stand in front of the office, load your stores, and compare the speeds. Even if you connect a LAN cable into your system from Shopify server, Dukaan store will still load faster.
Yeah, that's a great thing, Neil. It's awesome. We have shared two store links that Neil had shared. Go ahead and check out the website speed and go ahead and compare it with any other Shopify store. We are sure that you will be able to see the difference in speed. Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining today. We hope you found a webinar useful. And if you need help with anything else, please feel free to get in touch with our customer support team on support@mydukaan.io. Awesome. Thanks. We'll be ending the live stream soon. All right. Bye bye. Have a great day, everyone.
Dipen, can you just drop in the link for them to purchase the lifetime deal on AppSumo because the prices
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
increasing in the
The
next 5 hours. Yeah.
yeah, the pricing for our AppSumo deal will be increasing in few hours. Just go ahead and subscribe to the deal, and the link is in the pinned comment itself. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hope you learn what not to do with e-commerce. All right. Good night.